3 charges in his sexual assault trial. This just came down as breaking news. So how much time could he be facing behind bars? And more on an outburst that happened in court.
And our Vegas Golden Knights gearing up for Game 1 of Round 2 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're live from City National Arena.
And Natalie Morales is live in studio with us today. We're going to be talking to her, and she's going to host.
On News 3 live at noon, breaking news. Bill Cosby found guilty on all charges in his sexual assault trial. How much time he could be facing behind bars?
Go Knights, go! The Vegas Golden Knights gearing up for Game 1 of Round 2 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've been waiting for this day to come. We are live from City National Arena.
Tracking down a killer, the man accused of being the so-called Golden State Killer, arrested. The response pouring in about this arrest.
News 3 starts right now.
All right, a big breaking news story that we're following. Bill Cosby found guilty on all 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Cosby is currently out on $1 million bail, and just moments ago, his defense attorneys gave a brief statement to the press saying the fight isn't over and they plan to appeal heavily. Now, this trial centered on the claims of Andrea Constand, who says that Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her in 2004. This is the second trial in the case, the first ending in a hung jury. Cosby's lawyers spent the trial painting Constand as a con artist who made up her claims to squeeze Cosby for money, but the prosecution said in his closing argument that Cosby is the con man. 5 other women testified, giving accounts of sexual abuse by Cosby that were similar to Constand's accusations. Cosby is facing 10 years in prison on each count, which means he could be facing up to 30 years in prison. Let's go ahead and listen to the defense.
We are very disappointed by the verdict. We don't think Mr. Cosby is guilty of anything, and the fight is not over. Thank you.
Are you going to appeal, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very strongly.
Okay, so these are live pictures right now of Bill Cosby as he has already left the courthouse, so they are following him. We're going to continue to dip into the live pictures. We're waiting to see if the prosecution is going to make any sort of statement to the press, and if that happens, we will take you to that press conference live. In the meantime, we will continue to update you throughout the hour on the latest, on all the latest information that comes through. Now to another breaking news story that's happening right now. 11 people have been injured after an explosion at an oil refinery. This is in Wisconsin. According to the fire department there, officials say a smaller tank exploded this morning at the Husky Energy oil refinery in Superior, Wisconsin. So far, no word on the extent of their injuries. There are no reports of any fatalities at this hour, and still no word yet on what caused the explosion. We are also following these live pictures. As you can see, obviously the fire not out. Right. It is billowing large black smoke here, so they have quite a project on their hands getting that thing put out. We're going to continue to follow both of these breaking news stories. And News 3, your place for breaking news. You can get every breaking news story as it happens on your smartphone or tablet if you just download our app. Just go to the App Store and look up News 3 LV.
All right, busy afternoon for breaking news, no doubt, but we want to welcome you in. Thank you so much for being with us on this Thursday. It's all about the Vegas Golden Knights gearing up for Game 1 of Round 2 as they take on the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I say we're going shark hunting.
Today is the day we have been waiting for.
Yes.
Let's go out to Faith Jesse. She is our Golden Knights reporter.
She is.
And Faith, you've been out there really all week long talking about the practices as they get ready to go. Have you gotten any sort of feeling on how they're doing today? Have you been able to talk to any of them or at least see kind of how things are going today?
Hi, Michelle. Good afternoon to you both. I want to make a comment before I say that. You guys said you're going to go shark hunting. Well, a lot of people out here say that they're going to have sushi after, you know, get some soy sauce, some sushi. I've never had sushi with shark, but we'll see. We did see the players. We weren't able to get into the locker room today because we had to prepare for this live shot, but the players playing very well, skating very well. A lot of great feedback from the fans as well. That's who we're talking to, and everybody's just very excited. They say they've played all well all season. I asked a lot of people saying, what do you think the guys need to work on? Most people said, we just want them to keep doing what they are doing because they're doing it very well, and all of this is in preparation for the game going down tonight. San Jose coming to Vegas, baby, to get beat, hopefully. T-Mobile Arena going to be packed with fans as we head into round 2 of the playoffs. Now, both of these teams are coming out of a round 1 sweep. The Golden Knights taking out the Los Angeles Kings and the Sharks taking out the Anaheim Ducks. Both teams have their eye on the conference finals, but what sets Las Vegas apart are their Vegas-style practices. For weeks, fans have packed in City National Arena to cheer on the team, and the crowd just keeps getting bigger. Today, fans told us that they're hoping they'll be in it all the way to the Cup.
Go Knights, go!
James Neal obviously is my favorite player. I love watching him play too.
This is Marc-Andre Fleury. Everybody just needs to look out for each other and play as a team.
We were feeling left out, so we had to do the beard, so go Knights, go.
I also have to give a shout out to Marc-Andre Fleury, the Jack Russell that you saw there. Everybody's gearing up for the Knights tonight. So things to know, if you can't get into T-Mobile Arena but you still want to be a part of it, there's going to be like a Fan Fest activation starting at 4:30 on Toshiba Plaza. They're going to be doing tattoos, face paints, free Vegas Golden Knights haircuts, and then at 5:45 they're going to have a big marching band coming into the night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have all the information on our website, news3lv.com. Faith, Jesse, go Knights, go! News 3.
Go Knights, go. And no one told me you can take dogs down to City Arena.
Apparently you can.
I've got to change Cooper and Charlotte's names.
Get them ready. Let's
Hey,
go.
Knight needs to go down there.
Yes, that's the Metro Police. It's their Vegas Golden Knights mascot, so to speak. So now we have 2 mascots
They
for
have
our
a new
Vegas Golden
canine
Knights.
named Knights. Okay, and hey, guess what? We're excited around here at News 3 because we just found out that you're going to be able to catch Game 2 tonight of the Golden Knights second round series right here on News 3 Saturday at 5 o'clock when they play. We're making big plans for big coverage. It starts at 4:30 Saturday afternoon. And right after the big game, we're going to continue on with that coverage. So if you can't make it out there because you don't want to spend $5,000 on the last ticket that's
how
left,
much you'll be paying, right?
Don't worry, we got you covered.
Yes, excited about that. Our Vegas Golden Knights, we're taking it all the way. All right, Las Vegas' transformation into a sports town is in full swing. We have Vegas Golden Knights, of course, in the playoffs. We have the Raiders Stadium being built. We also have the WNBA.
It's
right?
so weird to hear Las Vegas as a sports
yes,
team.
I know.
I just never thought I'd hear the
Sports
words.
town.
I'm sorry, a sports town with all of our teams. Let's bring in Kendall Nunley joining us live from UNLV, where business leaders are discussing right now the transformational power of Major League sports and how it could have maybe a good impact on Las Vegas. Obviously, yes.
Yes, that is exactly what they're saying there. As you saw with Faith not too long ago, zeroing in on the way the community has rallied around the Vegas Golden Knights, is supporting the Raiders on their way, the WNBA team as well, also the 51s, the soccer team. This team here today that is speaking about this says that the consensus is in. Vegas is a booming sports town and they're looking towards the future, is really hoping that this continues, this trend, as more teams want to come here as well. Now, the city is transforming around sports, and today local leaders in the economic, business, and sports worlds are on campus discussing the bright future of Southern Nevada from the field, the ice, and maybe even one day the NBA court or the MLB pitcher's mound as well. These experts say that professional sports has and is transforming our community, predicting a booming economic impact if Vegas becomes a sports town. As pro sports continues to rise here in the desert, this group believes that opportunities for entertainment and business, those will come as well, advocating that the entertainment capital of the world adds sporting to that title as well.
It's an opportunity to kind of look at the market differently from what has been the narrative of this city, which has been primarily focused on entertainment and the gaming community, and now you're adding sports into that mix.
The Knights have kind of shown everybody the path and the blueprint that you know, everybody said you got 42 dates. People can't go to that many games. People aren't going to care that much. There's too much to do. The Knights have proven that wrong.
And the discussions here today did not stop with entertainment or sports. They also talked about politics. You might remember in 2016, the presidential debate was hosted right here at UNLV. The team on stage talking today says it may be time to step that up as well, pointing towards a national convention, quite possibly hosted right here in Las Vegas. We'll keep you posted on that. For now, though, reporting live from UNLV, Kendall Nunley, News 3.
All right, more this hour on the arrest of that accused serial killer that police in California have been hunting since the 1970s.
Yeah, he's called the so-called Golden State Killer. According to police, 72-year-old Joseph DeAngelo, that's the man we're talking about. He's facing at least 6 counts of murder across the state, and that number is only expected to rise. Joe Fryer has the story.
A notorious cold case finally cracked. Police believe a ruthless serial killer is now behind bars. Known both as the Golden State Killer and the East Area Rapist, investigators say their suspect committed at least 12 murders and more than 50 rapes across California in the 1970s and 80s.
We were looking for a needle in a haystack, but we also all knew that the needle was there.
Joseph James DeAngelo was arrested Tuesday night in Sacramento, just 10 miles from where the serial attacks began more than 40 years ago. Police said thousands of man-hours and detective work helped them zero in on DeAngelo, and DNA samples from DeAngelo provided the final piece of evidence.
We were able to confirm what we thought we already knew, that we had our man.
DeAngelo had been a police officer in the nearby town of Auburn. He was fired after shoplifting a hammer and dog repellent from a store in 1979. Now 72, DeAngelo was on a police force when the crime spree began, eventually spreading to 10 counties. Investigators say the killer's brutal attacks included sadistic touches like stealing personal items from his victims and terrorizing some survivors again with threatening phone messages. The case's profile had risen in recent years, thanks in part to the work of journalist Michelle McNamara, who died in her sleep in 2016. McNamara's best-selling book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark, was finished with the help of her husband, actor Patton Oswalt, who appeared on Late Night with Seth Meyers.
He's caught. The bracelets are on, and it feels like this thing that she wanted so badly is now done.
Joe Fryer, NBC News, Sacramento.
All right now we're going to go ahead and go to live pictures. This is the aftermath of the verdict coming down. The Bill Cosby sexual assault trial, found guilty on all those charges. Let's listen into the prosecution.
Thank first those 12 jurors for their diligence, the sacrifices that they made, as well as the sacrifices of their families so that they could serve in this important duty that they did. So today we're finally in a place to say that justice was done. As prosecutors, we have a responsibility to seek justice, and we have to go wherever and to whomever it takes us. And to begin, I want to step back to a point that was pretty decisive in this case, and that's when Judge Rebrano released a civil case deposition and indicated in his opinion that the defendant's deposition showed the stark contrast between Bill Cosby, the public moralist, and Bill Cosby, the subject of serious allegations concerning improper and perhaps criminal conduct. At that point, the prosecutors, who are here to do the right thing, and specifically my predecessor, Risa Vetri-Furman, opened up and reopened this investigation. So that's a duty, but that duty took courage because she had to open up a case against a powerful man. But I can say definitively that that's one of the things that is done over and over again in the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office. We have shown from our record that money and power, or who you are, will not stop us from a criminal investigation or prosecuting a case. And what was revealed through this investigation was a man who had spent decades preying on women that he drugged and sexually assaulted, and a man who had evaded this moment here today for far too long. He used his celebrity, he used his wealth, he used his network of supporters to help him conceal his crimes. And now we really know today who was behind that act, who the real Bill Cosby was. And a jury has spoken with one voice in a court of law and found the defendant guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand in his Elkins Park home. Now, there's a number of people up here, and I'm going to try to address as many of this as I can. But Before You Day is just a part of the team that worked tirelessly to get us to this point. And the most important person in this is Andrea Constand. There you are. 14 years later, it may be easy to forget that she was that first courageous person that stood up in public to go to the authorities and say that Bill Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her. Her courage, her resilience in the face of horrible and unfounded attacks upon her and her family has been so inspiring to all of us. We thank her. We thank her family. We thank her mother, Gianna, for trusting us through this process of prosecuting her attacker. And standing next to her there is Dolores Triani, who with B.B. Kivitz were the ones that were asking the questions in that deposition that Judge Rebrano was referring to that got us to the point where we were able to reopen this case and seek justice. And standing with her through this whole process has been a lot of other courageous women who are willing to stand up and tell their stories about being drugged and sexually assaulted or raped. 19 were willing to stand up with us in this prosecution, take the witness stand, and we are humbled by the courage all of them showed. And we can't help but applaud and celebrate the courage of the 5 witnesses that had a chance to face Bill Cosby in this case, to tell the jury, to tell all of you what he did to them. So Heidi Thomas, Shalon Lasha, Janice Dickerson, Janice Baker Kinney, and Lisa Lott Lublin. We publicly here thank all of them. I called each of them after the verdict. Was not able to talk to all of them, but they know what they've done, and they know what their courage helped all of us do. So supporting all of these women have been the victim advocates, the victims groups, the women's groups, the anti-rape groups, and so many others. And each of these groups play such an important role in supporting these women and helping them to heal from the ordeal that they have been put through. Those are the people we all owe a debt of gratitude to today.
All right, we're listening into the prosecution there. One of the first things he said out the gate was justice was done, going on to say that money and power and who you are will not stop criminal prosecution or stop us from pursuing a case. And it was really interesting to see the Andrea Constand there standing with her mother and also flanked by the other prosecutors involved in this case.
All right, so we're going to continue to follow that, but now we want to talk about something that we have really been looking forward to. Natalie Morales from NBC. This is live. This is not video. She's here in studio with us today to talk about her new cookbook. And she's going to help us co-host this show. But first, we're going to talk about At Home with Natalie. That's coming up.
It is 12:20 now on this Thursday, and we are looking at more blue sky all across the area. This is a time-lapse look at what we've seen so far. This is the Southeast Korean Technical Academy camera. Just some high, thin clouds. That's about it. But today's big story, it's the temperatures. Check these out. It's only noon. Downtown already 92 degrees. That's 10 degrees above the normal high for this time of year. Green Valley's at 90. Centennial Hills, you're coming in at 88 degrees. The winds nice and light for now. Now the next weather maker, it's on the way. It's just off the coast. You can see that circulation spinning there. Here at home, everything's quiet. Like I said, for now, sunny skies, just some high, thin clouds. But as that low approaches, we're going to start seeing those winds picking up, beginning tomorrow afternoon and continuing, unfortunately, through the weekend. Now, pollen levels. We're still at high counts for the weeds, moderate levels for trees and grasses, ragweed, sage, cedar. Those are our biggest culprits. Now, as far as what we're expecting today, mainly sunny skies. The high, 96 degrees. That is 14 degrees above normal. And the record for today's date is 97. That was set in 1996. So we're only a degree shy of tying that record. So it's not just 1 degree. It is a possibility that we could tie that today. Winds will be nice and light, like I said, out of the east, about 3 to 8 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, still warm, 71 degrees for that overnight low. Now the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, 93, still going to be very warm, but those winds begin to pick up later in the afternoon, gusts to about 30 miles per hour. Saturday, that's where we're going to see those winds peak, 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts expected, 87 degrees for the high, and temperatures continue to trend downward as we head through the rest of the weekend and into next week. In fact, by the time we get into Tuesday, we're looking at a high of just 77. We've got much more coming up after the break.
All right, we're continuing to follow this breaking news. These are live pictures of the vehicle that Bill Cosby is in after leaving the courthouse out on $1 million bail after being found guilty on all 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. He is facing up to 10 years for each count. That adds up to 30 years possibility as far as prison time goes. The defense and the prosecution has spoken out to the press. The defense saying that they plan to appeal heavily and that the fight is not over. The defense saying justice has been done. We're going to continue to follow this major breaking news. We'll bring you more information throughout the rest of the hour.
And another breaking news, we're following Texas to Superior, Wisconsin, which is near Duluth, where 11 people have been injured after an explosion at an oil refinery in Wisconsin. You see that heavy black smoke billowing into the air there. Live pictures as we speak. Fire department officials say a smaller tank exploded this morning at the Husky Energy oil refinery, again in Wisconsin. We don't have any word on any injuries at this point in time, but no word again on how it got to this point, but definitely a breaking news story that we will continue to follow right here on News 3 Live at noon.
Okay, let's go. Are we going to break, guys? Or are we going to go to this dog story here? Okay, we're going to skip the cute little doggy story, which I'm sorry about. Oh no, we're in it. Okay,
well,
so
let's go
we just wanted to show you this real quick. This is a British couple who has built a doghouse to look like a castle ahead of the big royal wedding and because of the royal baby who was just born.
That.
Now
Everybody,
that is fancy.
let me tell you, fancy schmancy.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Right now on News 3 Live at 12:30, breaking news. Bill Cosby has been found guilty on all 3 charges in his sexual assault trial. He is facing up to 30 years in prison. We'll have more on that, plus live pictures as he leaves the courthouse coming up.
Lucky to be alive, a Michigan boy back at home after nearly drowning. He was underwater for almost 9 minutes. We're going to tell you how he was able to survive all this, and all of it caught on camera.
Plus, Natalie Morales is live in studio, standing right next to us. We can't wait to talk to her about her new cookbook, At Home with Natalie.
News 3 starts right now.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to continue to update you on this breaking news that we've been talking about. Bill Cosby found guilty on all 3 charges in his sexual assault trial. This just coming down within the last couple of hours.
Yeah, we've seen him leave the courthouse after this verdict coming down. And now we're going to go ahead and go to NBC's Wendy Woolfolk joining us live from Norristown, Pennsylvania with the latest. And Wendy, we've heard from now the defense and the prosecution after this verdict has come down.
Crystal and Michelle, good afternoon to you again. Quite a crazy afternoon here in Pennsylvania. Guilty, as you mentioned, on all 3 counts. This entire case revolved around the idea of consent. Was the relationship between Bill Cosby and Andrea Constand consensual? And obviously this panel of jurors decided it absolutely was not. The panel of 7 men and 5 women deliberated about 14 hours over the last 2 days. Constant sat stoically in the front row as the verdict this afternoon was read. There was an audible gasp in the courtroom, as you can imagine, but Cosby himself showed no emotion until the DA asked to revoke his bond and whether he owned a private plane. That is when Cosby lashed out and called the prosecutor an a-hole. But the DA, Kevin Steele, stood in front of reporters, flanked by Andrea Constant this afternoon as they left the courthouse, saying that today, quote, justice has been done. The defense says they will heavily appeal this jury's decision, but in the meantime, the judge released Cosby on house arrest. He made him surrender his passport as he left the courthouse. And at this point, sentencing has not been scheduled, but we can tell you that he faces up to 10 years in prison per count. That's 30 years, and that is up to the judge. Live in Norristown, Pennsylvania, I'm Wendy Woolfolk. Crystal and Michelle, back to you.
Okay, Wendy, thank you for that update. And News 3 is your place for breaking news. You can get every breaking news story as it happens right on your smartphone or your tablet. If you just download our app, go to the App Store on your phone there. News 3 LV is what you look up. All right, Democrats representing Nevada in Washington, D.C., speaking out after a court ruled that DACA has to continue, which allows people brought here illegally as children to stay in the U.S.
There's a bipartisan group of senators are fighting to make that happen. But I will tell you what, because of the gridlock here, because we have been blocked by Republican leadership in this administration from passing our bipartisan support for DACA, the courts are taking it up, and rightfully so.
We've had some victories in the courts recently to allow DACA to move forward and saying the administration has to accept DACA applicants. I'd love to see comprehensive immigration reform that not only addresses DACA but also temporary protected status and a number of the other visa programs, but I'm not too optimistic.
Okay, and you can hear more from our Nevada senators on our full Connect to Congress segment. You can find that on news3lv.com.
All right, we are also your weather authority. Let's shoot it right over to Kelly. And Kelly, get out your fans. Turn up the AC.
Yeah.
Right? Look at this. 94 degrees right now. Becker Middle School, 94. The record high for today is 97, but the next weather maker, it's on its way. And we're going to talk about the changes it's going to bring coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate that. A Michigan boy is back at home today after nearly drowning in a terrifying pool incident. This happened in North Myrtle Beach last month. Really, when you see this playing out on camera, it's something to see.
Well, when you hear that he was underwater for 9 minutes and is alive, that itself is amazing.
Yeah.
And when you see the scary surveillance video, you can only think about how lucky this little boy was, and he never gave up as those minutes ticked by. Here's NBC's Kristen Dahlgren with more on that.
This morning, the fact a 12-year-old Michigan boy is alive is nothing short of a miracle. He was trapped underwater for nearly 8 minutes and survived. It happened last month at the Avista Resort in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This newly released surveillance video shows 2 boys in an unguarded lazy river pool. Signs posted near the pool indicating no lifeguards were on duty. The boys were playing over a drain when one of them lifted a grate and somehow got stuck.
The child is stuck in the drain at the pool.
Watch closely. You see the boy's head slip underwater. The other boy tries to pull him out, but can't. After he's been under for a minute and a half, the other boy yells for help. A woman nearby runs over.
He's drowning right now. We need somebody now.
It's chilling to watch the desperate battle to save him. At a minute 55, a vacationing Pennsylvania corrections officer reaches the submerged child and struggles for several minutes, attempting to free the boy. Incredibly, he also performs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation underwater.
I was giving him underwater breaths to try and keep him, alive.
When police officers arrive and dive in to help, the boy's been underwater for 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Now all are working frantically to free him. When hotel maintenance turns off the pool's pumps, they're finally able to free him 7 minutes and 40 seconds after he first went underwater. Officers immediately started CPR on the boy. Witnesses say the boy's leg was lodged in a filter pipe, trapping him underwater. The police incident report making clear the video shows the victim opening up the grate. Records show the pool's filtration system had been inspected twice last year and was up to code. The resort, meanwhile, tells NBC News it's thrilled to hear the boys doing well. With the grates in place, our lazy river is safe for all of our guests. Evidence confirms that the boy and his companion dislodged the grate before he caught his foot in the intake. Sean Skursky was just one of the heroes that night.
I'm just happy that he's alive. Honestly, if it wasn't for everyone that helped me, it probably wouldn't have been the same outcome. I'm glad I did it because now this little boy gets to live the rest of his life out.
Unbelievable.
Wow, we were just talking with Natalie Morales, who's sitting right next to us, talking about how many times we've covered stories like this. You know, over the years.
Well, on the Today Show, Jeff Rossen did a whole story about these suction, equipment in these swimming pools that, and sadly, there have been so many incidents like this. But thank God there were a lot of people who jumped in and helped that young man out.
Amazing to see that unfold on video, right?
Well, she's our third co-host
Yes,
for the day.
yay.
So glad to have
Thank you so
her.
much, Michelle and Crystal. It's so exciting.
This is
Hi,
really,
Vegas.
Yeah, hi Vegas. Natalie Morales sitting here next to us on News 3 Live at noon. We're going to be talking to you about your new book, At Home with Natalie, and then she's also going to help us tell a few stories in the second half of the newscast.
And she's going to fill us in on how you can share some of your stories as well, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Can't wait to tell you about something new I have brewing.
Okay. I love it. So
All right.
stay with us. You don't want to go anywhere. She's coming back. Okay, so we are just at home with Miss Natalie Morales.
I know, it's like we're sitting on the couch just having a conversation.
She is our co-host, our third co-host for the afternoon, and we're so excited to have you here because you have a brand new cookbook that you have rolled out, and we've been talking about it before you came on camera. At Home with Natalie, and we have some good stuff in store for people, don't we?
What I loved about putting this book together, it sort of allowed me to take a trip down memory lane. It's a lot of the places, many homes that I've lived in over my life, because I've lived all over the world, Panama, Brazil, Spain. I was an Air Force brat, so I was really blessed to have an upbringing that allowed me to travel so much and see so many places. But this book is infused with recipes from all of these beautiful places that I've lived in or traveled to, and a lot of healthy recipes in there as well.
That's something that I really like because first of all, you know, you have an interesting background.
Yeah.
The Brazilian and Puerto Rican. And a lot of the comfort foods sometimes aren't the healthiest, but you put your own little spin on it so that you can still enjoy the good stuff.
I'm all about comfort,
Ooh,
and comfort food. So, you know, for me, like, no mac and cheese. I mean, come on, you got to have the ability to eat mac and cheese, and you got to have a good hamburger every now and again too. So I'm all about that.
She says it all the time.
But there are ways to make those foods better for you, like the mac and cheese in my book. I make it with cauliflower as well, so it adds like a creamy texture, and butternut squash, so it gives it a little bit of that orange coloring. Packed with nutrients. My kids don't know there are vegetables in there, which you have young children, Michelle, so you know sometimes sneaking the veggies is the only way to get them to eat it. There is still cheese though. You can't cut back on the cheese and the mac and cheese. Just a little bit though.
Yeah, you can't cut corners on the cheese. And also I thought it was really interesting because of your background. You are a self-proclaimed military brat. It's not just like Brazilian and Puerto Rican food, Chinese food.
Yes.
All different types.
Places we've lived or traveled to, and also just foods that I love. And as a journalist, I've been able to travel for the Today Show all over the world. So, you know, at the Olympics in Greece, I just came back from South Korea. So everywhere I go, I always pick up a little something, even if it's just the spice, or I learned something about that culture to be able to cook the recipes at home, because I do love to feel like we are a global community, and we are seeing people love and embrace foods and spices from all over the world so much more. So this is a book that I feel it honors many cultures and experiences that I've been able to have.
Speaking of honoring, you said that this cookbook really is a way for you to honor your family. Your mom. Remember kind of pulling at her dress, you know, as she was cooking. You were in the kitchen from a young age, so this is something that you've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, you know, it's part of that Latin upbringing. You stand next to your mom in the kitchen and you learn alongside her, and you know, I'm one of 3 girls. I'm the middle child, and so we all now participate. Any holiday, we're standing around helping my mom make her empanadas or whatever, you know, the recipe is. But for us, it really is about family, and this book is preserving my family's legacy, but it's also, I want it to inspire people to preserve their own memories and their own legacies in the kitchen. So I hoped by writing my story, it's also allowing people to share their own stories.
I love that. Let's talk about that, because you just launched a new website.
I did.
And that's where you're inviting people to share their stories.
To share their stories, because working in local news, I've done it as well as you all do. And you know, there's so many great stories and people who inspire. And so now I've launched this website, nataliemorales.me. It's in conjunction with a cookbook, whether it's recipes you want to share or people in your life who have done incredible things. If you have a great story, share it. And it's stories around the table. Again, to me, like having that dinner time is sacred time, or sitting down. I know we're all busy. We're working, you know, moms in many cases. It's so hard to carve out that family time, but sharing stories, and this is the idea of a web community where you can share those stories as well and start conversations in a positive way, because too often we all know the haters online, right? We all deal with that.
Yes.
So this is a way for positive interactions online.
We need that uplift, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Now, one thing I have to point out, I said, you know what? She's a woman after my own heart, because this is what I love about you. You said that, you know, you're trying something different with your food, you're doing some vegan, but you said wine is vegan.
Yes, wine is vegan. Wine is definitely vegan, and it's good for you. All the doctors say a glass of red wine a day. I subscribe completely to cooking with wine too, and having it be, it's my main ingredient, and it's also next to me most
Yes.
days.
There you go.
One more question.
Love
We have
it.
30 seconds. We have to wrap. But any possibility of a Natalie Morales cooking show, perhaps?
Oh, you know, I don't know. I mean, I hadn't thought of that. I mean,
because there's some videos that I've
seen. The door
is
always open.
You're great at it.
She's a natural,
Yes.
because you can go on YouTube and catch some of the
catch her.
videos as she's making these recipes. And I think I have to tell you, I'm a fan of the cooking, all the cooking networks.
Me too. So
I know it's
am
one
I.
of my favorites, and I would watch.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
You
just
hear
throw
that,
out
Food
there.
Network?
Let's get on it. Let's make it happen right here on News 3 Live at noon. We're going to make it happen.
Okay, we don't have to say goodbye to you yet,
No,
because
no,
she's
no.
going to stick
Stick
around
around.
and she's going to help us with the rest of the show. But we do have to move on to weather, so we will be back with Natalie in just a few moments. But now let's go to Kelly with the latest on this very, can we say hot yet?
You know, for this time of year, it is. It is hot. So let's take a look at what we're dealing with. So this is the North Las Vegas City Hall camera. Blue sky, some high, thin clouds rolling through. That's really all we're seeing today, and the temperatures continuing to rise. So check out some of these numbers. Pahrump already at 91. Laughlin, 102. That is your current temperature. Again, it's not even 1 o'clock yet. Over to 97. Mesquite, you're looking at 96 degrees right now in the Las Vegas Valley. Summerlin, you're at 88 degrees, but Southeast already coming in at 94. Sunrise Manor at 94 degrees as well. The winds, those are generally pretty light, so those aren't going to be a problem for us, at least not today. So mainly sunny skies, some high, thin clouds. That's all we're looking at, but look at that rotation there off the coast. That center of low pressure, that system is working its way eastward, and as it does, we are going to see some changes as the cold front moves through. Temperatures dropping, and yet again, the winds, they're going to be picking up starting again tomorrow afternoon. So pollen levels, weeds at high levels right now for us. Trees and grasses, those are at moderate levels. The biggest culprits right now, ragweed, sage, and cedar. So keep the tissues handy. Now, here's what we're looking at for high temperatures today. We are not expecting to hit triple digits in the Las Vegas Valley. We have never hit 100 in April here, and we don't expect to. But Overton and Mesquite are expecting to hit 100 degrees for the high temperature today. Laughlin 103, Death Valley 108 today. Pahrump, you're looking at 94 degrees for that high temperature. Now overnight tonight, still going to be pretty warm out there. Partly cloudy skies. Mesquite 66, Indian Springs 62. Searchlight, you're looking at 66 for that low as well. Now, 7-day forecast. Today, like I said, in Las Vegas, we are not expecting triple digits, but we are going to get awfully close to a record. 96 is the forecast high, 97 is the record for today's date. Tomorrow, still in the 90s, but those winds start picking up in the afternoon. We're looking at winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. Stronger winds Saturday, gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour, but temperatures falling back into the 80s. And as we start May 1st actually is Tuesday, it's going to be quite a bit cooler, partly sunny and 77.
Of course it would be in Las Vegas. It does the opposite of what you think it's going to do.
Natalie
right?
having some reaction to our 100
I was like,
degrees.
whoa. Oh my gosh, I'm here through tomorrow. Steamy.
Turn up the AC.
We've got a steamy 96 for you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about what's trending right now. Of course, everybody's talking about the royal baby,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So the Duke of Cambridge may have given a little hint about the name of his newborn son might be when he described, I guess, quote, strong name.
Well, as the wait continues to see what the little baby boy will be named, William was back on royal duties yesterday, and I hear that he was kind of sleepy.
He was a little sleepy. He fell asleep a couple of times.
We understand.
Yeah, but William did meet with Sir Jerry Matapare of New Zealand, and Jerry said that his own name would be good for the baby. Well, William then replied, Jerry's a strong name. Then he told Alexander Downer, who's Australia's High Commissioner to the UK, that he thought Alexander was also a good name. I mean, he's just being polite. Come on, let's face it. He's going to say that every guy he meets. That sounds like a good name. Well, royal fans around the globe, they're still trying to guess what the Duke and Duchess have chosen to call the baby prince. But here are the favorites right now, okay? Among the Brits, Arthur. All the bookmakers say it's either going to be Arthur, but now there are reports that Albert it has moved into the top spot. Albert would be, or Bertie, Prince Bertie, after Queen Elizabeth's father, who was George Bertie, or Albert Bertie George.
See, and you have a little bit of insider information here. Will you explain to them real quick what you heard?
The Daily Mail apparently online was reporting that if you go onto onto the Windsor's website, and you click and you type in the name Prince Albert, it says access denied. But if you type in Arthur or any of the other names, it says does not exist. So people are now speculating it could be Albert.
Okay.
Maybe waiting just a little bit longer, though.
Bringing us the intel. Keep it coming.
Yes.
Keep it coming.
Why can't they just say the name already? Just put us all out of our misery.
I know, right?
So they can sit here and laugh at us all trying to
figure it out. I like Albert, though.
Somebody's making a lot of money, though. All those bookmakers in the UK. They're
Philip
cashing
was
in.
one everybody was talking about at one
Philip,
point in
too.
time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about this because this is something that we could certainly use here in Las Vegas, in Clark County, really. We have a big problem with pedestrian-involved accidents. It's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
But in China, they have figured out a way to deal with jaywalking.
Well, there's high-tech efforts underway in some of China's big cities to stop the pedestrians from jaywalking. Look what they've done.
Okay, so they have these yellow posts equipped with lasers, motion sensors installed in some points. Oh my goodness!
Oh my God. They spray you with water.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good way to get somebody not to walk across that street. So
On a hot day in Vegas, I might want to jaywalk,
now that's
right?
true. Now that's true. That'll keep you from doing what you're not supposed to do, and you stay cool at the same time, right? So earlier this week, we understand they installed 40 cameras with artificial intelligence that can identify these jaywalkers automatically. A big screen in Beijing has also been installed that tells passerbys that a nearby camera is monitoring, and a loudspeaker warns pedestrians who violate road rules and asks them to go back to the stop line.
Can you imagine that in New York City? People would be like, nah.
Would they just walk around it?
They would vandalize those things, right? And they would walk right through it anyway. Ignore it.
Well, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
The water spraying on you when you're walking around in Las Vegas in the summertime.
May not be a bad thing.
would be
I kind of like
nice.
it's like sprinklers.
See?
Yeah, I'll take
and
it.
a lot of our restaurants and bars and stuff, and we have that.
the sprinklers.
It's not a bad idea.
Okay, well, listen, you can follow all of us on social media. You can follow Natalie on all of her social media platforms. And there are all the names. Are they the same for everyone?
Thank you. At M. Morales NBC, for the most part, all of them. And on Facebook, just Natalie Morales.
Yeah, and then you can, I already follow you on Instagram. And
follow you too.
Thank
you. We'll take it. I love it.
But so if you want to know more about the book and the different recipes and all the stuff that Natalie's doing, you can follow her. And then if you just want to hang with us, we would love a like too.
You know, I mean, if you feel like it.
I like you, ladies. I like you a lot. I'm liking you all the time.
Natalie.
Aw, thank you.
Hey, we have a lot more to come. Stay with us. We'll be back. Okay, so let's go back to some of that breaking news that we've been following out of Wisconsin. It looks like they're having a little press conference here. We understand that 11 people injured after an explosion at an oil refinery. This is very close to Duluth. Fire department officials saying a small tanker exploded this morning at the Husky Energy oil refinery, again in Superior. Do you want to dip in on this a little bit, Ryan? No? Okay, we'll just keep going. But we just wanted to bring you an update, let you know there's a press conference going on. We'll continue to follow this breaking news story. We're always online on social media, and also you can check us out at news3lv.com.
All right, and then the other big breaking news story today, Bill Cosby has been found guilty on all 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. He's facing up to 30 years behind bars. This case centered around Andrea Constand's accusations that he drugged and raped her. He's out right now on $1 million bail, and we're following to see what happens next for Bill Cosby.
Also coming up this afternoon at 2 on Dateline here on Channel 3, when Nayla Franklin disappeared after graduating from college, her friends refused to believe anything bad could have happened. She just met a handsome, well-dressed man with a Bentley. Had Nayla fallen in love, or had she fallen into a web of lies? It's all coming up today at 2, followed by News 3 live at 3.
Okay.
That was exciting to
I
have
did my
you do
Dateline.
that.
Jeez.
She hosts Dateline,
does.
so
Yeah,
that's
Dateline
really
too.
exciting. We just
I
added
love it.
Dateline to our rundown, and it was we're really thank you.
Glad
for
to
coming
hear.
on.
So
I'm
thankful
here.
to
It's
have
doing
you.
really well.
It
and very
is doing
popular.
well.
People love true crime.
Hey,
Yeah.
something else that's going to do really well is that book of yours,
Yeah.
At Home with
Oh,
Natalie.
thank you.
So definitely check it out. Also check out your new website, right?
NatalieMorales.me. Thanks, ladies.
And
Thanks for
share
having
your
me.
stories, and then you
Please.
might be featured on the website.
Yes.
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Great being here.
Oh,
Thank